What is going on, guys? It's Bush here, and today I'm going to be kind of going over a intro to the node management system in Unreal Engine. Particularly, I'm going to be going over Conan Exiles Dev Kit. This kind of works across the board in theory. This is meaning pretty much nodes are just how everything in the game communicates with each other, kind of talks to each other, and essentially works. The only real level deeper than this is getting into actually coding these things, but that's a little bit too complex for what I'm trying to go over. So my goal here is to at least be able to get you to understand how to read these things and potentially create some really cool and unique buffs that are not going to be able to be made by just modifying initial buffs in the system over here, but actually going in and creating custom buffs that allow you to pretty much do anything. In particular, what I'm going to be showing you today is how to create a percentage-based heal over time based upon your character's maxed health, particularly because the server I played on had pretty high difficulty, and the stats were scaled up much higher. So 100 healing over time was just fine over there, but that could be like 10% of someone's health in another server. So it really just allows your mod to be more available and open to everyone when you go percentage-based effects. That way it is all based upon the kind of server stats, so it's more open and available to everyone as opposed to a particular server. So how I actually start reading these things, what I have done is I've taken the original heal over time buff, master, a name I kind of cut off a little bit because I was doing stuff, and I've gone ahead and saved it to my mod folder just so I can edit it and it's not going to mess up the original game. And that's just suggesting whenever you're messing with stuff, always create a new file in your mod folder, so if you mess it up super bad, you don't have to like reload Unreal in order to just reset it. It'll automatically you can just start over. So coming over here on the event graph, the only thing that's saved is the event graph, and its parent is the just buff master. That kind of gets into more detail. And so how you really read these things is you need to have a good understanding of how does this buff work. So in Conan Exiles, buffs are pretty much or healing is you either get initial health boost with some healing over time, and that is being modified by a level by 40 points in vitality for a 50% increase to healing. So if we go over here with that in mind, so whenever you're initially starting something or getting pulling stats from your own base character, you have to start off with your owning character. This is really just playing off the parent, which is initially going over to the start of how buffs kind of work. And so with everything we know about the healing over time buffs, we can actually go over here. So cast to perk system on our interface, this is pretty much just like, this is perks there, yes, but if it's not so much, it'll just immediately default to say 1, the standard heal. And now it's getting the perk system. This is pulling all the perks in the game and be like, do I have this perk? Which is particularly the Vitality 40. That's something you'll have to type in. So if you wanted to make your own perk for something, you could actually make your own perk and type that in yourself. And then it's going over here, it just has perk. That is the condition it's set. So does it have this perk? False. Then it goes over to the standard heal. If it does have this perk, it goes over to the perk modifier, which you can actually alter based upon each specific buff. For all heal over time, the standard is 1.5 for a 50% increase. For this particular one, I actually don't want the 50% because I just want it to be a base stat or base heal over time on an armor effect. So going over here, we're starting off as the owning character again because it splits off a lot, and pretty much just going over here to, this is a branch, and it's asking, has the initial heal happened? So if you're going over here, this is the initial health boost. So it's going over here, this modifier is saying, hey, we should heal you for 50 health, times the perk modifier. Then it goes back over here and adjusts health, but it also has an additional event where it has set initial heal has happened. Well, now it goes back over here. Here's where that initial heal has happened. And now it's true. So we're going to go ahead and adjust health for the health value of the owning character, which is over here. And then this is the heal over time value. It's set to 1. Default, it's actually set to 2. I deleted these and I had it all done. But I just completely reset it to its original, how it originally looked. Not as messy, but now the heal over time value was originally set to 2, modified with perk modifier, which initially was 1.5, which is now at 1, so it's still only 2 no matter what, and goes and adjusts the health. But I want to make it percentage-based time, so this is actually the thing I need to change. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out and delete it. We don't need it anymore. And I could pull off an additional one, or I could make the owning character one here if you wanted to make it more clean or not. Whenever you're, like I said, whenever you're pulling base stats off of your owning character, you need the owning character thing to start with. Because if we tried to get instat, it's not going to pop up. It's not going to know how can we get the instat. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull off over here and place a new node. And now I need the stat. What stat do I need? How do I need to know how to get it? We've kind of talked about this in a previous video of int stats and float stats. If you're really wanting to know how to find a particular stat, just Google Conan Exiles stat IDs. You should get a list. And we need max health, and that is an int stat. So we're going to go ahead and get int stat. This is nice and convenient because it has all of the int stats loaded in. I don't actually need the stat ID. And so it's pulling the owning character's max health. You don't have to worry about mode for this instance. And then we're just going to go ahead and plug that, and initially that is, we're pulling the max health that your character has. So if you have 1,000, that now 1,000 is going in here. Well, the problem is now we have the perk modifier going in here times 1, so it's still going to heal you, say for that instance, 1,000 health per tick. But we're going to go ahead and delete that, and now it gives us a chance to type in a number. So for this instance, I only want a 5% health buff, or 5% heal, so I'm just going to type in the value at that time. So now, if we have 1,000 health, comes in, and now it's going to heal for like, what, 50 or whatever, for 5% of 1,000. And that's going to be the initial tick over time that's going to be coming in and adjusting the health. But now, this particular one, if you come over here, it says should break on damage, true, and it'll stop on damage. And another one is when you get to max health, it'll auto stop. So I actually don't want these in here, if it will let me. If it wants to play nice. So we're just going to break the lines. And that is pretty much pretty rudimentary, just to kind of get you an understanding on how to read these things. Go ahead, compile. I'm going to show you how it actually worked. And I'm actually going to rename so now I've healed that, and I'm not going to go too in-depth into this, but if you want to know how to add the modifier, you just open up your blueprint for the armor piece and then type in what you just made, and then compile that. Now let's go ahead and play it and test out how will it work. So I have the armor piece I have on, and then now it's healing me 15 health every tick, and that is 300. Well, something I can do to show you, since it has gone down, is it's still healing because I took it off. Even though it had max health, I took off the turn off for damage and the turn off for max health, for getting max health. But just to show you, really show you that it worked, I'm going to go over here and change the initial health that I get to like 100. You know, compile, save, and play. And even though now I have 20,000 health, but it's healing me for 1,000, which is 5% of 20,000. So it's still working, and it's a percentage base. Now, on no matter what server they're running on this mod, it will always be a base value percentage of healing. I hope this is kind of helpful. I'll probably end up going, if I continue to do these, more in depth on how to really create some complex stuff, maybe. And it was really just an introduction to kind of get you to be able to understand how these things work and all the things you can do. You can literally do anything you want to with these if you take the time to learn and create them. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you all next time.